Hello everybody and welcome back once again to Let's Play Skyrim. Well, as you can see, we have commenced today's session in a slightly different location from where we ended up last time. We were in the inn at Falkreath and now we seem to be somewhere cold, blustery and blizzardy. That's right, because this morning we woke up, having had a night's sleep, doing a bit of thinking. Elwyn has made a decision. As much fun as Barbas has been, I say fun in inverted commas of course, it's time for him to go back to where he came from. We really must crack on with our quests, and Barbas is hindering more than helping it seems, and therefore we're going to get the rightful axe. So, we stepped out of the inn, drunk a potion of extreme magicka and Daedra heart, said the magic words, and poof, piff, poff, ended up here. Just outside the Rime Rock Burrow, where this alleged axe is believed to be. So Barbas, one more for the road, old boy. Let's retrieve that axe and take you back to Mr. Vile. First of all, we need to find the entrance to this cave. It's here somewhere. In fact, oh, there it is. Quite a ways down. Oh, we're gonna die, aren't we? We're gonna die. I really shouldn't have done this. There we go. We were close to dying, but not quite. Oh, there is a pathway there. I could have taken that. Trust me to always go the most difficult route possible. Alright, come on, guys. Just because you are not as good at me as acrobatics, I'm going to go the logical way to assist your legs. Prevent you from breaking an ankle or a kneecap when you fall awkwardly upon landing. Alright, here we are. Rather precarious location, and here comes Barbas to push me fly, so I better move on quickly before he catches up. Right, we're in. Don't know how big this cave is going to be, but we're going to tackle it head on, as we always do. Ooh. We have Flame Atronox. And I have Jamora Lord. So read him away! Sebastian who? Who is this fella? Wow! Got him. Like the bite of a flea, chop him down, he mocks my bloody fireball! Oh! He's a strong fella. Chop him! Boom! Bite of a flea. How dare he make mockery of me. That's me, for God's sake. Right, thank you, Fluffy. Oh, it's here. I didn't expect it to be so quick and easy. Goodness me, I anticipated battling through undead. Maybe some Falmer would have been nice. I still need some Falmer blood. No. We just have to kill some madmen, and the axe is just sat there waiting for us. Oh, blow me down. It's going to be a short session today then, isn't it? Right, some more nightshade for Ingen Blackbriar. I'm sure we have quite a bit now. Conjure Familiar, we'll take it. I won't take the axe just yet. I've got nothing to disenchant. what lies in here. Little quarters. Nice little den he had, eh? It's a shame he had to die, and Barbas once again pushes me and forces me to collect a bowl instead of trying to read the book. Right, don't disturb me now. I'm looking for a bookshelf here. This is very important business. I'm trying to ascertain if these books are new to me or if I need to take them to add to my stores. The myths of Sheogorath? Maybe I have that, but I'll take them. I'm not 100% sure which ones I have and which ones I don't have. I do have a an inventory of listed books that I could refer to should I desire to do so, but if in doubt, just take the bloody things, and you can always sell them if they are surplus to requirements. The real Berenzia. Oh, what's that one? This sounds new. Pirate King. Oh no, I have that. Pirate King of the Abyssinian. Right. Okay. Oh, lavender. Can burn it in my my quarters back at the college for a nice aroma. Hey, I wonder if that's a new craze, eh? I wonder if that's been invented over here yet. Nice little smelling things. Dwarven axe, gold, circular, whatever you want to call it. Amulet of Talos. No. Robes of eminent alteration. Not really. Okay. So, here's the axe. We'll take it. And we need to return to the Shrine of Clavica's Vial with Barbas and the rueful axe. Now, where was the Shrine of Clavica's Vial? Was it in Valkyrie? Where we've just come from? And we now have to return to? It's a long way away. Secunda's Kiss. No, that's not the right one. Clavica's Vial. Oh, here it was. No, it was near Iverstead. It's a long way away. Although we got to it from the Falkreath area because we went. I remember winding our way through the mountains. Yes, I remember. We went past Helgen up into the mountains, and there we were. That's a long way away. That's a long way away. Oh my God! We have no Daedra hearts left. No more teleporting. So what I intend to do is take a nice scenic stroll to Solitude. And perhaps it'll be quicker for us to take a carriage, maybe to Falkreath, and then we can walk up to there and do the deed. I think that should suffice. So that's what I'm going to do. And whilst I go and do that, Elwyn read a book. Last night. It was the final book in a series which has been ongoing for some time. It is the series of the name escapes me. It'll come to me in a second. I said right. It's the Argonian account. We're up to book 4, the final book. So as we wind our way towards Clavica's Vial, to give him his axe and relinquish this dog from our service, we shall recall the final book regarding the escapades of... His name escapes me. God, I only read this morning. What's it called? The man, the person that the book's about. Lord Vanek's building commission sent him to Black Marsh problems. He was called... I can't remember. Oh, this is so stupid. Almost as stupid as trying to get back to bloody Clavica's Vial half a mile away. Right, let me get my map on here. Place the marker. Get the general direction where I'm supposed to be. Go over there. Right. I need to be over there. Okay. Anyway, just listen to the damn book, okay? The Argonian Accounts, Book 4, by Walgene Jarth. Decimus Scotti was drowning, and he didn't think much of it. He couldn't move his arms or his legs to swim because of the paralysis spell the Argonian peasant had lobbed at him, but he wasn't quite sinking. The Oncobra River was a crashing force of white water and currents that could carry along large rocks with ease, so Scotti tumbled head over heels, spinning, bumping, bouncing along. He figured that soon enough he would be dead, and that would be better than being in Blackmarsh. He wasn't too panicked about it all when he felt his lungs fill with water and cold blackness fell upon him. For a while, for the first time in some time, Decimus Scotti felt peace. Blessed darkness. And then pain came to him, and he felt himself coughing, spewing water up from his belly and his lungs. A voice said, "Ooh, bother, he's alive, ain't he now?" Scotti wasn't sure if that were true, even when he opened his eyes and looked at the face above him. It was an Argonian, but unlike any he had seen anywhere. The face was thin and long, like a thick lance. The scales were ruby red, brilliant in the sunlight. It blinked at him, its eyelids opening and closing in vertical slits. "I don't suppose we should eat you, should we now?" the creature smiled, and Scotti could tell from its teeth that it was no idle suggestion. "Thank you," said Scotti weakly. He craned his head slightly to find out who the "we" were, and discovered he was on the muddy bank of a still, sludgy river, surrounded by a group of Argonians with similarly needle-like faces and a whole rainbow of scales. Bright greens and gem-like purples, blues and oranges. "Can you tell me, am I near, well, anywhere?" The ruby-coloured Argonian laughed. "No, you're in the middle of everywhere and near nowhere." "Oh," said Scotti, who grasped the idea that the space did not mean much in Blackmarsh. "And what are you?" "We are Agassefs," the ruby-coloured Argonian replied. "My name is Nomu." Scotti introduced himself. "I'm a senior clerk in Lord Vanek's building commission in the Imperial City. My job was to come here to try to fix the problems with commerce, but I've lost my agenda, haven't met with any of my contacts, the Arcanes of Gideon. Pompous, assimilated slaver kleptocrats," a small lemon-coloured Agassef murmured with some feeling. "And now I just want to go home." Nomu smiled, his long mouth arcing up like a host happy to see an unwanted guest leave a party. "Shays will guide you." Shays, it seemed, was the bitter, little yellow creature, and he was not at all pleased to the assignment. With surprising strength he hoisted Scotti up, and for a moment the clerk was reminded of Gamulus dropping him into the bubbling muck that led to the underground express. Instead, Shays shoved Scotti toward a tiny little raft, razor thin, that bobbed on the surface of the water. "This is how you travel?" "We don't have the broken wagons and dying horses of our brothers on the outside," Shays replied, rolling his tiny eyes. "We don't know better." The Argonian sat at the back of the craft and used his whip-like tail to propel and navigate the craft. They travelled quickly around swirling pools of slime that stank of centuries of putrefaction, past pinnacled mountains that seemed sturdy but suddenly fell apart at the slightest ripple in the still water, under bridges that might have once been metal but were now purely rust. "Everything in Tamriel flows down to Blackmarsh," Shays said. As they slid through the water, Shays explained to Scotti that the Agassefs were one of the many Argonian tribes that lived in the interior of the province, near the Hist, finding little in the outside world worth seeing. He was fortunate to have been found by them. The Nagas, the toad-like Patru, and the winged Sarper would have killed him on the spot. There were other creatures, too, to be avoided. Though there were few natural predators in the inner Blackmarsh, the scavengers that rooted in the garbage seldom shied away from a living meal. Hackwings circled overhead, like the one Scotti had seen in the west. Shays fell silent and stopped the raft completely, waiting for something. Scotty looked in the direction Shays was watching, and saw nothing unusual in the filthy water. Then he realised that the pool of green slime in front of them was actually moving, and fairly quickly, from one bank to the other. It deposited small bones behind it as it oozed up the reeds and disappeared. "Voriplasm," Shays explained, moving the boat forward again. "Big word. It'll strip you to the bone by the second syllable." Scotty, desirous to distract himself from the sights and smells that surrounded him, thought it a good time to compliment his pilot on his excellent vocabulary. It was particularly impressive, given how far from civilization they were. The Argonians in the east did, in fact, speak so well. "They tried to erect a temple of Marne here, in Umfolo, 20 years ago," Shays explained, and Scotty nodded, remembering reading about it in the files before they were lost. "They all perished quite dreadfully of swamp rot in the first month, but they left behind some excellent books." Scotty was going to inquire further when he saw something so huge, so horrifying, it made him stop frozen. Half submerged in the water ahead was a mountain of spines, lying on 9-foot-long claws. White eyes stared blindly forward, and then suddenly the whole creature spasmed and lurched, the jaw of its mouth jutting out, exposing tusks clotted with gore. "Swamp Leviathan," Shays whistled, impressed. "Very, very dangerous." Scotty gasped, wondering why the Agasef was so calm, and more, why he was continuing to steer the raft towards the beast. "Of all the creatures in the world, the rats are sometimes the worst," said Shays, and Scotty noticed that the huge creature was only a husk. Its movement was from the hundreds of rats that had burrowed into it, rapidly eating their way from the inside out, bursting from the skin in spots. "They are indeed," Scotty said, and his mind went to the Blackmarsh files, buried deep in the mud, and 4 decades of Imperial work in Blackmarsh. The two continued westward through the heart of Blackmarsh. Shays showed Scotty the vast complicated ruins of the Kothringi capitals, fields of ferns and flowered grasses, quiet streams under canopies of blue moss, and the most astonishing sight of Scotty's life, the great forest of full-grown histories. They never saw a living soul until they arrived at the edge of the Imperial Commerce Road just east of Slough Point, where Malik, Scotty's Red Guard guide, was waiting patiently. "I was going to give you 2 more minutes," the Red Guard scowled, dropping the last of his food onto the pile at his feet. "No more, sir." The sun was shining bright when Decimus Scotty rode into the Imperial City, and as it caught the morning dew, it lent a glisten to every building, as if they had been newly polished for his arrival. It astounded him how clean the city was, and how few beggars there were. The protracted edifice of Lord Vanek's building commission was the same as it had always been, but still the very sight of it seemed exotic and strange. It was not covered in mud. The people within actually, generally, worked. Lord Vanek himself, though singularly squat and squinty, seemed immaculate, not only relatively clean of dirt and scabs, but also relatively uncorrupt. Scotty couldn't help but stare at him when he first caught sight of his boss. Vanek stared right back. "You are a sight," the little fellow frowned. "Did your horse drag you to Blackmarsh and back? I would say go home and fix yourself, but there are a dozen people here to see you. I hope you have solutions for them." It was no exaggeration. Nearly 20 of Cyrodiil's most powerful and wealthiest people were waiting for him. Scotty was given an office even larger than Lord Vanek's, and he met with each. First among the commission's clients were 5 independent traders, blustering and loaded with gold, demanding to know what Scotty intended to do about improving the trade routes. Scotty summarised for them the condition of the main roads, the state of the merchants' caravans, the sunken bridges, and all the other impediments between the frontier and the marketplace. They told him to have everything replaced and repaired, and gave him the gold necessary to do it. Within 3 months the bridge at Slough Point had disappeared into the muck, the great caravan had collapsed into decrepitude, and the main road from Gideon had been utterly swallowed up by swamp water. The Argonians began once again to use the old ways. Their personal rafts and sometimes the Underground Express to transport the grain in small quantities. It took a third of the time, 2 weeks, to arrive in Cyrodiil, none of it rotten. The Archbishop of Mara was the next client Scotty met with. A kind-hearted man horrified by the tales of Argonian mothers selling their children into slavery. He pointedly asked Scotty if it was true. Sadly, yes, Scotty replied, and the Archbishop showered him with septims, telling the clerk that food must be brought to the province to ease their suffering, and the schools must be improved so they could learn to help themselves. Within 5 months, the last book had been stolen from the deserted Maran monastery in Umfolo. As the Arcanes went bankrupt, their slaves returned to his parents' tiny farms. The backwater Argonians found that they could grow enough to feed their families provided they had enough hard workers in their enclave, and the buyer's market for slaves sharply declined. Ambassador Sleex, concerned about the rising crime in northern Blackmarsh, brought with him the contributions of many other expatriate Argonians like himself. They wanted more Imperial guards on the border at Slough Point, more magically lit lanterns posted along the main roads at regular intervals, more patrol stations, and more schools built to allow young Argonians to better themselves and not to turn to crime. Within 6 months, there were no more naggers roaming the roads, as there were no merchants travelling them to rob. The thugs returned to their fetid inner swamp, where they felt much happier, their constitutions enriched by the rot and pestilence that they loved. Sleex and his constituency were so pleased by the crime rate dropping, they brought even more gold to Decimus Scotty, telling him to keep up the good work. Blackmarsh simply was, is, and always shall be, unable to sustain a large-scale cash crop plantation economy. The Argonians, and anyone else, the whole of Tamriel could live in Blackmarsh on subsistence farming, just raising what they needed. That was not sad, Scotty thought. That was hopeful. Scotty's solution to each of their dilemmas had been the same. 10% of the gold they gave him went to Lord Vanek's building commission. The rest Scotty kept for himself and did exactly nothing about the requests. Within a year, Decimus Scotty had embezzled enough to retire very comfortably, and Blackmarsh was better off than it had been in 40 years.